Hello and welcome to the B Button. This is episode 17 and I'm your host Baron Marf. I'm joined as always by my compadre in arms. It's the Angry Link.
Oh, that's my cue.
That's all you, baby.
How you doing then, Mark?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Same old, you know the score.
Been waxing on much gaming this week?
Yeah, been plodding through the crew.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, trying to... Well, I set myself a target of just trying to open up all of the map and have it so it's all in colour, because obviously it's a black and white beforehand. And that's a slog. There's some square miles to cover.
I was on the headset with you the other day and you were doing a race which was like an hour and 40 or something.
Yeah, it took me 105 minutes, I think it was in the end.
Damn.
Got some good cash out of it though.
I should hope so.
Cash.
Did you... it was a race, so did you win?
Yeah, absolutely stormed it. I was massively over leveled compared to the opposition, so it was fine. Once I got like a bit, I think it was like a sort of a good minute lead, I think, in the end or some shit like that.
So for those who don't know the crew, it's got an actual map of America.
Yeah, it's a scale map of America. Obviously, you've got a few major cities and a few towns. Well, quite a few towns. And obviously, they're all really scaled down, so there's only a few streets in each of them. But no, it's huge. You've got the World Run update as well.
When I first loaded into it, I was like, man, this is a fucking ugly game. This is not pretty. And then I realised that's because it's all of America. And then I was like, well, if that's the case, it's not a bad looking game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's again, I think it's a case of it's the Xbox itself.
No doubt.
But no, it's a solid game. It's not world changing. It's not as good as Forza, I don't think, in terms of how it drives and races.
But for a cost to entertainment ratio, it's value for money being free.
Yeah, you should still get it until the 15th of July, I think it is, or 14th of July.
Grab it whilst you can, folks. Grab it whilst you can.
No, that's solid. And obviously Diablo 3.
Yeah, so Diablo 3. So I know you played a little bit before, but...
I've got I've got still so much to do on the crew, which is obviously one of my notes for it.
Right.
Because it is just a monster of a game. But Diablo, I've merely tickled a nipple. That's how I put it. Is my slightly different way of saying scratching the surface. So yeah, not even got anywhere close to finishing off a character yet.
What character are you playing as?
I've got the monk.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name. Whatever random name it assigned him, it was good enough. But yeah, it's just, again, I should read up on some shit and learn my shit. What I need to look for and be striving to build.
I akin playing Diablo to basically doing a puzzle, because I think you and I discussed this the other night. You get onto a map and you're like, I know there's nothing in that corner. I can pretty much see the edge of the map by the bit which is slightly faded anyway, and I know it's at the absolute opposite end of the map, but I am not leaving this area until I completely unshadow the whole of this map.
Oh, I can't leave anything.
It's like a puzzle thing. You just got to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, no stone unturned. Because that's it. You make up the edge.
Yeah.
And then you just sort of work across.
Colour in the middle bit.
Yeah, that's it. Every time.
Yeah, amazing. Cool. So, but Diablo 3, anything else?
No, just been catching up with some TV and some movies or some series on Netflix. Obviously Marco Polo. That's released.
Never watched it.
That's not bad. Got the guy dude in it. It's just the kung fu dude. He's awesome. Old, is it 13 Eyes? I think 100 Eyes.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's good. It's not a bad little series.
Maybe something for a perusal then.
Yeah, I'd say give it a go.
Oh, sure.
It's the sort of thing in a few series you should know if you like it or not.
Yeah.
But Ip Man 3 as well. That turned up on Netflix and that's just
awesome.
awesome.
I watched that. Pretty good.
It's just pretty much fighting all the way through it, isn't it?
Look, this is a gaming podcast, we promise you. But Ip Man 3 is well worth a watch.
Ip Man 3.
It's Donnie Yen as Ip Man. Just watch all 3 movies. Just go do it. So, I've been waxing... I started taking notes. I've been playing everything in the last week. We've had Diablo 3, so, yeah, been playing a fair amount of that, actually. Inside, which we'll touch a bit more about on later on, but, yeah, Playdead's I don't know. It's not a sequel.
It's just their next game. It's the follow-up.
Yeah, but it's
an expansion on
it's
Limbo.
It's definitely got some relations to Limbo. Tekken Tag. Been rinsing Tekken Tag.
I installed that, but I still haven't actually cracked that on. I should give that a blast. I did always enjoy Tekken.
It's a really solid fighting game. Really solid.
I did like the left and right kicks.
Yeah, it's just each button's an arm. You know the combos.
Yeah.
You use the right button. Trials Blood Dragon as well. That son of Trials and Far Cry Blood Dragon. You know.
Is it as batshit as I expect it, and as cheesy, but in a great 80s Michael Bay movie kind of way?
It's got some really good music on there. I think a lot of people have bitched and moaned in the reviews about it because it's probably not hardcore like most Trials games. But I mean,
that's what the community's for, though, isn't it?
There's a shitty platforming bit with a gun which doesn't work, and then there's some sitting in railway carts and just.
But the beauty of it is that it's all built within the Trials game engine, though.
Yeah, very much so. You can tell by the platforming bits. And then, do you know what? I've just been absolutely Star Wars'd out.
Yeah.
I've been
best bin.
Yeah, well, do you know, it's the only bit I haven't got to. You'd think I'd be on it, but it's the only one I can get to because of shitty internet connections.
The Cloud City.
yeah, destroyed by clouds and wind at my end. But yeah, Star Wars Force Unleashed. Went back to the Xbox 360 games, downloaded them, just still loving picking up stormtroopers, throwing them around like toys.
Yeah,
great experience.
It is good fun.
And then Star Wars Force Awakens, the Lego version. Yeah, that's right. I'm playing it. I'm proud of it.
Lego, the Lego games of the recent ones have been great.
Yeah,
they are. They are just good fun games.
Yeah. I can't knock it. It's nothing more than breaking stuff and collecting coin, but I love it.
No, you always came through the first playthrough. And then you sort of work on getting the cubes that you can buy the multipliers. Yeah. And that's once you start getting them up.
But it's the same thing as Diablo. I can't walk. If I'm in an area and I have the opportunity to smash everything and collect all the coin, I can't walk away until that's done.
I mean, but
that's unhealthy.
But the thing is, though, the problem with Lego games is you have to it's play it again and again, and to get those all of the little build packs.
It's killing me, Link. Yeah. It's killing me inside.
I started and made a good concerted effort at Marvel superheroes.
Yeah,
picked that up over Christmas last year, or the year before last even, and
that's a good game.
It was like £8. So I was like, solid. So and it got a challenge, and I think I'm about halfway through it and getting everything.
It's a long slog ahead of you, my friend.
I haven't played that for months.
Yeah, not going to happen. Cool. Well, look, let's shift on over to our Bullet Bills Big 3.
I think so.
Let's do this. Here we go, it's Bullet Bills Big 3, baby! Yeah, it's the news. And over to our first bullet hole for the week is what, Link?
Well, after many leaks and rumours and speculation and postings on various retailers around the world, the BioShock collection has been announced by 2K.
Wow. Never saw this coming. Well, I think what would have been more shocking is if they said we're not going to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'd like to have seen that.
But yeah, so obviously it's not much of a surprise, but it's finally announced. Obviously it's nothing more than just a page on their website saying BioShock the collection. But a few details. It's obviously the first, second, and ultimate. BioShock Infinite.
Good games.
Yeah, they are solid games. There are no other details, but obviously next year looks to be a fairly likely release date, 'cause it's the 10th anniversary.
I can see them trying to squeeze this out for Christmas.
It could be, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
There's no.
It's again, but there's no other news from 2K other than it's there.
I did hear that they were excluding the multiplayer from. I think it's the second. Is it the second BioShock or?
Yes.
Maybe,
the second one. So, but that's not a surprise because you don't want to run up servers for games that people might play
for a week.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There's one-player storyline-driven games anyway, aren't they?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So I mean, it's not a surprise that it's finally been announced, but
I mean, let's be honest. This was like the world's worst-kept secret. I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah, it was like
everywhere.
It was like the Batman one, but as well, I forgot also that's been delayed till who knows when, the Batman collection. So that's another one which I completely forgot about when we was writing up our notes and when I was looking through.
Well, I mean, either which way, it's no big surprise. Are you interested in it? Will it make you buy it? Or will you buy it, I should say?
No, not really. I mean, they're great games, but yeah, it's games that I've seen and played and watched before, and so it's good that they're coming out. It allows it to look a bit nicer, and it's all in nice one tidy package because it's all the DLC as well.
But I think when I played Bioshock Infinite, I was playing it and I thought, do you know what, this controls feel really quite dated now, and then playing the older ones even more so. So I'm not sure how well, other than the storyline and generally what you see, how well they've fared the length of time.
Well, it'll be an interesting one.
See what happens. Cool. So shifting over to our second bullet hole for this week, it's a sale time, isn't it? We're going to be seeing some big Xbox sales.
Well, obviously it's the Independence Day, 4th of July.
Ultimate sale.
Yeah, well, it's all around it. And Steam have got theirs. I don't know. Didn't actually check, did we? But I'd imagine Sony have got some plans in order.
Probably the Black Friday, Branduru.
I don't know. Yeah, but obviously, yeah, we know we've got the Xbox summer sale. Yeah,
40 to 60% off some of your favourite titles, i.e. all the ones that I've already purchased. Running from the 5th of July to the 11th of July. They're saying it's going to be like circa 250 games. It's like, that seems like quite a lot of games and not what I believe that they'll do. But
a lot of it will probably be DLC and
add-ons, yeah. Just all taken up by Elder Scrolls.
But there's some solid looking games in there though.
Yeah, Xbox One, we've got some Mirror's Edge, we've got some Division, Battleborn's in there, Ark, which no matter how much I see of it, I just don't like that game. That's just me. Sorry Ark. We've also got some 360 ones being announced. The one that I'm looking forward to, about the only game that I don't have a digital copy of, being Left 4 Dead 2. Yes. A bit of Witcher 2 for all of you who've been getting your Witcher fix on recently.
And didn't get it when it was, because I forgot that I managed to get that on gold.
Brutal. And then obviously South Park Stick of Truth as well.
Yeah, that's always a good one. I'm tempted by that.
Gonna revisit it?
Yeah, see how much it is. If it's cheap enough, I might stick like a $5 down on it or something.
40 to 60% off, and I think
it's £15 at the moment, isn't it? I think on the store.
They'll probably do it $9.99, I guess.
Probably. I don't know if I'd be prepared to put a tenner down.
Quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah. Cool. So I mean, that's not really news that they're going to do a sale, but
But hopefully there's some cheeky unannounced stuff in there.
Yeah, come on, let's get some.
And again, there'll be some ridiculous like £2 jobbies, and there'll be some really good little great bargains.
Yeah. It's for all you achievement whores out there who just think, I'll play that just to get my... You logged into the game, 5 GG's achievement.
Yeah.
Cool. Third bullet hole for this week, Link, what have we got? Well, I know what we've got, and I'm a bit meh about what we've got.
Well, Sonic Team have announced that they're bringing out a new Sonic game for 2017.
Oh, God, honestly, guys, this IP's dead. You've killed it. I mean, this isn't flogging a dead horse anymore now. I mean, this is done.
I mean, it seems that the best Sonic games that have been out in the last few years have been the ones that have tried to copy like almost the Nintendo formula.
Yeah, so
in the sense that Nintendo have flogged Mario to death. Like, he's carried so many games on his back that I can't even be prepared to list them all. But like the ones where they've tried to go their own route, like you've got a few different ones like Sonic Boom and
Horrible.
I mean, the last decent one or half decent one was Sonic Generations.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess there was that Sonic Superstar kart one.
But again, it's something that they like. Superstar Tennis was a great Sonic game, but again, it's a tennis game. The kart one was good.
Yeah.
But again, it's Sonic Team's take on Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And it's kind of.
I really enjoyed it up until the point where Nintendo released Mario Kart, and then I've never played it again.
Yeah.
Brutal. So, have they told us anything about this?
No. But there will be a full reveal at Sonic's 25th birthday party in San Diego, which is on the 22nd of July.
This is more like Memorial Day than it is like a celebration.
Well, if you want to join them for the morning and the passing, then it will be streamed live on Twitch.
Oh, that's going to be painful.
But I don't know. It could be. I think there's been a certain understanding from the hierarchy and the bosses at Sega or at Sonic Team, at least, that the output of late hasn't been brilliant. Like the last sort of half decade hasn't been kind to Sonic.
These guys are crying into their briefcases right now. So.
Well, I think a lot of Sega's properties, apart from like Yakuza, which is continues to rip through Japan, like the mafia
overtone that it is. Yeah.
But no, I don't know. Hopefully, it's something quite cheeky, because it kind of went downhill from like Sonic Adventure, really, didn't it?
Look, I think you're being so fucking polite. I think Sonic has been shit for fucking ages, and the last Sonic game that I really truly, I mean, that kart one was okay, but it felt like a cheap man's Mario Kart.
It's not a Sonic game.
It was better than the other shit which was out there, but it wasn't Mario Kart. But generally, it was like back on this Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 2,
Sonic CD.
It
was really good.
That's it, and when they did those like episode 1 and episode 2, they were pretty solid, but that's because they went back to the old style Sonic. Other than that, this character just embodies like janky controls to me, so it's like, stop it now, just leave it alone.
It's never translated well to 3D.
No.
I mean, Sonic Adventure 2, I would say, was probably like the last, for me anyway, because I didn't really play much Sonic after that. But that was good because it didn't do, like, Sonic Adventure was great, but the whole free open world thing was a bit meh because of the awful camera.
Shame on you, Sega.
Yeah.
This whole Robotnik Eggman thing, forget it.
They did explain it actually the other day. I didn't actually look it up though because I didn't care.
Right, well there we go, that says it all. And on that humble note, I think it's time to go into what's the beef, Chief?
Yeah, I think we might merge into it with just the Sonic really, isn't it? We've got to be careful.
Let's do this. Right. It is beef time, as in what is the beef, Chief? And the beef right now, I'm going to start spitting venom straight off the bat. I'm Vex and Rat on this particular one. And fuck me, this is one we've got to be careful on. But I've entitled this, what the fuck is up with all this PC bullshit in video games at the moment? That's how I've entitled it. Yeah. I've thrown it out there. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Well, obviously, like you say, when we were talking about it, it's the furore that was kicked up about the Legend of Zelda Breath of Fire and a lot of people's expectations on Link, like being able to switch between gender and it obviously not being that the case. And we were talking about it, and I'm really pissed off. Because there was something as well about James Bond. It's like, oh, why can't it be Jane Bond? It's just like, but why would you want to shoehorn females into these characters? I mean, I can understand why people want these things, because especially with the Zelda one, you've got Link was created for Hyrule Warriors. So, I mean, yes, there's a case for it, but then it throws the dynamic of the game out and the story and the history.
I don't have a problem with female characters taking lead roles, being the protagonist in particular situations, and we've touched on some before where we said that character needs to be a female. That character needs. I mean, it's like I can't imagine, and this is the one we mentioned earlier on Tomb Raider. I can't imagine Tomb Raider.
It's Larry Croft.
Yeah, or Barry Croft. We don't.
No.
It doesn't work. So, you don't see anybody going, why the fuck can't you be a male character in Tomb Raider? This is an outrage. You disgust me. What the fuck?
Obviously, there's a different reason why that was never the case, and there's a whole other can of worms which I'm going to stay well away from and keep closed. But
look, I'm really happy for her to jump about.
No, but like we were saying there, the main point is, we've got stuff like RPGs and Skyrim where you can be whatever character you want to be, and you can be a compelling character because you can forge your own story. We've got characters in other games, like you say, Ellie from Last of Us, and then there's Don't Nod's. Oh God, I've not written it down. I'm terrible. I know, yeah. But there's been a lot of really well written female characters, like you said, the reboot of Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you drive for more compelling characters? I mean, we've seen a lot of the E3 as well. There's some really good new characters come through from Recall.
Yeah, but I mean, there also seems to be a lot of this. I mean, for example, I never questioned Samus as being a woman. I was like, yep, that's cool.
No, exactly.
And the reason why I don't have an issue with it, and this is why I'm going to really start pushing it up, there's nothing at all stopping a woman to be physical and be able to fight and be able to fire guns and lift stuff and all that. But they have to consciously make quite a concerted effort to become that physically.
Yeah.
Men, there are some blokes who are born who are just generally able to lift a lot of weight, look like a juggernaut, and generally if you put a rifle in his hands and coated some body armour on him, you think, fuck me, I don't want to mess with that. And there are some instances in some games where I would like the male character who is currently punching through somebody's face to rip his spine out the back of his head to be a bloke. Generally, unless there's a bloody good reason why this woman is able to demonstrate this sort of like aggressive brute force, and that's not, and I'm not, that's a very touchy subject to talk on, but it's just sort of like the stereotypes which aren't negative stereotypes, just what we kind of believe as men being the alpha male, women being, like it's just playing more to the attributes rather than the dictations of what the character has to be.
I suppose you're sort of in the sense the more comic book sort of side of it in its an emphasis and exaggerations.
Well, yeah, I see characters like, there's lots of like female sniper characters, and I don't question that at all. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And if my character's a female sniper, I'm like, yeah, because I don't expect a woman to be in there with a massive 6'4" bloke wrestling with him. I can get the whole sort of ninja jumping around bit, and characters like Taki and Soul Calibur and stuff. Yeah. No issues whatsoever, because I get it, but I don't know. It's a peculiar thing. I think there are some instances where I play games and I'm like, I don't need to play as a female character here, or I don't need to play as a male character here. Why are they shoehorning in this to try and capture everybody's interest, when really you should be, rather than saying it's any old female character or any old male character, just say it is a female character and her storyline is this, and then you actually get some depth behind the game rather than here's a generic holding character.
Well, it comes back to this thing of creating compelling characters, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I suppose we can touch on the thing with the domination of white male in the industry. I mean, it's something that
is prevalent, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a case of now technology's enabling more and more people to be able to create their games. Obviously, you had those the Iranian guys that created that game around the 1979 revolution, and they told a really great story through that. Did it matter that you couldn't choose between it being a man or a woman for the main character? No, because it's a story that's been driven that way. I think it needs to be a case of more women want to hopefully do start to take up game development, and they can then tell their stories, because I personally don't really feel comfortable with some 30-something, 40-something white males telling me about a woman's story, really, because I don't think that's sort of believable.
We just need it to...
It always comes back to that sort of maybe overly sexualized thing a bit. I mean, you look at stuff like Bayonetta and even Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
And that's a strong. They're strong female characters, but there's still that potential over sexualization.
So that's exactly it. I mean,
feminists decry.
Do I need a massive pair of tits hanging off Lara Croft to play the game? Absolutely not. It doesn't need to be in there, you know. Can characters look like that? Absolutely. They should be able to look like that. They should be able to look however. I don't see many Lara Crofts which are like £350, you know, jumping from rope to light bridge, and, you know, there's good reason for it. But
it comes back to that believable, compelling character again, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it time and time again that we've had many games that have tried to create new characters, male and female, have fallen flat on their face because of said character. So
I just, for me, I think we get too wrapped up and too concerned about specifically, you know, a game has to be like this. Recently, Mirror's Edge lead character Faith, I think her name's. I'm quite happy with her as you know, the lead character. I didn't sit there and go, why isn't it a male character? This, you know, there's absolutely no reason why for the job that she's doing, which is jumping from rooftop to rooftop and, you know, generally being light and nimble on her feet, it totally matches. And if I had some huge juggernauted guy, I'd be like, well, no, that's not how this works, you know. Yeah. And I just think that, you know, they can build a better storyline because they have a specific character to write to than just having to
making it as a catch-all.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you've got games like stuff like not Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row.
Yeah.
I remember I played the shit out of Saints Row 3, but you can create whatever character you want, and then you've got to shoehorn them into this story. I mean, it's great because you've got Burt Reynolds and the zombie outbreak, but still, it's not very. Well, they're never the most compelling of stories.
So when you do your gigglish 16-year-old boy thing of just creating some female character with massive boobs and putting, like, you know, bugger all clothes on her, some sort of bikini, so you can play through the game with someone who's just like scantily clad in the most outrageous way, and then you watch that character putting somebody up against the wall and threatening them, it's like, this doesn't work. It just doesn't stack together, you know.
That's the thing. I mean, I like the point you were touching on before. I don't care whether it's a man or a woman I'm playing as. I've played games where you've had interesting male characters and not very interesting that have been boring, and I've just left it be.
I can't picture putting a Western game in front of you and saying this leathery old gunslinger is a woman, because at the time there's very few leathery gunslinging women. Do you know what I mean? So it wouldn't be, you can play that, but it's, do you know what I mean? It doesn't naturally take you there. And I think a lot of what video games are about is saying, you know what you believe this instance to look like, here's fulfilling it on the screen, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously suspending belief and allowing to be drawn.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, again, if someone with some clever writing, because saying that, do you remember the old Sharon Stone film where she was a gunslinger, and obviously she was wronged by Gene Hackman as a little girl.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it now. Oh,
yeah,
God.
The Quick and the Dead, I think it is, or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing that you could believe that a woman could do that, but just not Sharon Stone, because she looked far too pretty to have been out gnarly in the sun for years, practicing and shooting and riding horses. And
if you look at, was it recently, and once again this is one of our famous tangents, but you look at the Avengers movie, and you've got Scarlett Johansson playing as Black Widow. Now, the way they've made her fight, where she's all like using her body weight and flinging people around with her sort of thighs and body, you know, all that sort of, it makes you think, yes, I can picture her kicking the shit out of people like that, so I'm cool with that. But then you watch other movies where you see a woman like slog a man in the face, and she's got no muscle, no build or anything, hits this massive guy and it sparks him out, and she's like, come on, let's go. You just think, that would just never happen. Yeah. And that's those instances where I'm like, please don't do that. Please don't try and make that something it's not.
It's I think it's something we're trying to not really say and circle around and tiptoe, but
But you know what I mean. There's certain things we want it to work right for the scenario, I guess. As well.
If you're going to go for something silly like cartoonish and go for that whole cartoon violence thing, then it's one thing. But when you've got certain games that you can't have this sort of, like you say, scantily clad, lithe, buxom blonde that's gonna put, like you say, a £200 guy down on his ass sort of thing. Yeah. If you're gonna suspend disbelief, just try not to take the piss, or just go completely stupid.
Equally, there are some games which you and I look at and we're just like, this is fucking ridiculous. One you sent to me recently, Gal Guns.
Oh yes, yeah, it's Japan, isn't it?
Japan. It is Japan, just doing what Japan does. That game looked like it was just a perv's dream. Girls just pop up in front of you, and it looks like he's shooting them, but with what I don't know, and it looks like they're just, for want of a better word, achieving a special place and then giving up the fight. So it's wrong. It's all types of wrong, that game. I don't know how Sony released this shit. I really don't.
I think it's on the DS, isn't it? Was it on the Vita?
It's on the Vita.
Yeah, it's on the Vita, yeah.
So
again, nobody else is releasing, so they don't really care, do they?
If your child went, Mum, can I have that game? And, how many mums out there would go, yeah, no problem. Turn around to find that they're like 8-year-olds, like, getting schoolgirls in school outfits to climax. It's like, this isn't right. This shit's not right. This has got to be stopped.
But he's when he's older, he's going to chase after cougars. He likes the older women.
Oh dear. It's just all types of wrong. And on that
note, let's definitely
tap out now. Man, get the fuck out of there.
This could get very, very sticky.
Risky beef. Yeah. A bit of a Freudian slip. Right. Okay, over to our uncharted territory. Whee, doggy. Whoo, damn. That's like getting your shit off of your chest. That's what's that beef was like. Whoo. But here we are.
I think we should motor on through into that uncharted territory quite quickly at a rate of knots.
Yes. So that's why I'm trying to go all sort of like unagi and mellow and dreamy for our uncharted territory, where we wander around the myriad of options.
Archipelago.
Ooh, feeling that.
But what island of
gaming are we stopping off on this week? Well, I've been playing a little bit of Playdead's Inside, which I was super impressed by, and one of the key things I kind of took away from it is the whole, this does more for me than just my normal gaming experience, which is cool, look at that, blah blah, you're dead, shoot this, amazing. So as I'm taking away a bit more from it, I thought, what other games have sort of got us into this space? Because if we look at Inside as an example, it's a visual feast. Literally every panel of the game, every point where you just stop and let go of the controller, you could literally capture that image, put it on the wall, and it's evocative and thoughtful. And
so it captures that really good aesthetic that sort of touches you. I mean, Limbo is another one, because no matter wherever you stand, it's all instantly creepy. Like something's going to come out and stab me in the head, or flatten me, or run me over, or drown me, or fall on me, or whatever. But I was trying to think about some games that, like you say, it's something that you take away from it. In the same way that sometimes you see a film and you just can't stop thinking about it, and it leaves you with these. When it ends, it leaves you with more questions than answers.
It's that Breastman/ski thing again. Yeah. But I mean, there's some games which for me are very story driven. So it's a story which I come away from, and think, Legacy of Kain, God of War kept me going, Uncharted, Bioshock. All of these are sort of games where it's the storyline which kept me hooked, and those are important as well and are just as valid, and I love those experiences. But I felt that Inside sits in a different space, kind of like Limbo did as well. In Limbo, purgatory. Think games like Unfinished Swan, where it's kind of like, it's not about, this isn't the best gameplay mechanics, isn't it? But it's just so completely different. Braid is another one for me. Just that was such an experience. At the end of it, I was like, was it finger biting intense? No. Was it action packed? No. Was it visually incredible? No. But yeah, I've walked away from it going, that was amazing. Was it storyline? No. But Flower was another one for me as well.
Yeah. Oh mate, that was unbelievable. I love that game.
But do you know what? A lot of the games that I was looking at, their home, even if they're on multi-platform, their home feels like Sony. So like Journey, Ico, all of these games are kind of like these games which just pull you away into this sort of like own little world, this own little bubble.
I mean, it's very few times that I remember there's books that I've got that I'm like that. That I remember one of them's Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere. And it was a TV series that he created with Lenny Henry, and then he created a book afterwards and expanded upon it. And I remember reading it, and it was unbelievable. I couldn't put the book down. And as soon as it got to a point and it finished, and I was really just disappointed because he'd left like all of the world that he sort of found behind. And then obviously he gets, like, the guy comes back for him, and it's just like amazing. And I love, like you say, there's very few games I've had it, but like you say, I remember Sword of Mana. Obviously, this is a remake, which I recently found out is actually just come out on the Vita.
Yeah.
There's another remaster. I was talking about it months ago. Like, it needs to remake this game in HD.
And it's out.
I can go and buy it today on my Android phone. So that one's good. I'm tempted at going to get that today.
So what was it about that story?
It's just, I love the story. I loved how you could learn and develop yourself as a character in terms of your fighting, because you could learn different jobs, and that would give you better access to different weapons. There was a great crafting system, and you had to find and mine materials, and it was just an amazing game. This was, when it came out, obviously on the Game Boy Advance, it was unbelievable. I'd never experienced a game like it. Then there was obviously Tales of Symphonia, which was around the same sort of time.
Tales of
Symphonia.
Right. Okay.
Namco.
Never played it.
Brilliant game. I think I've still got it. Can you play Wii U play Wii games?
Hopefully.
Or have you got GameCube?
Hopefully, that's worth a perusal.
But yeah, I've got that at home still. It was one of the few games I've still got. Some GameCube games like Monkey Ball. Yeah, it was just an unbelievable game.
Monkey
as well.
Ball for me.
Monkey Target.
I rant on about this all the time. Merry Golf Toadstool Tour. But yeah.
Another one though, Rock Band for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, just. It really stuck with me.
That's an interesting take on it.
But it's one of those though. Rock Band, when you play it on your own, it's good fun. It's alright, but it's just a case of how much stamina and how long can your hands, feet, legs sustain it, or vocal cords. But when you get around with a group of people and like-minded people that like the same kind of music you do, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, Rock Band in VR would be amazing, but just literally Rock Band and everyone to put their VR headsets on. This is why it's a shame it never went through for PC. Rock Band fucking VR PC would be fucking unreal.
Yeah, man.
So you've always got your little fucking bar in front of you. You can look around and walk around and shit.
They do clever things with Kinect where they capture your movement and stuff like that.
It's awesome. I love that game. Fire Emblems were another one.
Yeah.
Some of them are really good, again, with the permadeath side of it, and you do create a bond with these characters.
And talking about that, Nintendo just announced that Fire Emblem...
Well, they've, again, reasserted, because they released that. It was one of their investors' meetings a few months ago, because they were talking about it just before they released Mitomo. They said, obviously, Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem were the games that they're going to be pushing next for the mobile apps.
It's nice to see them acknowledging that, and it's good to see it's actually main... big brand IPs of theirs that they're doing.
Well, these are brands that are big, but I'd imagine, well, obviously Animal Crossing the exception, but Fire Emblem doesn't do brilliantly outside of Japan. So it's stuff they want to drive their IPs a bit more. It's a brilliant way to drive the more obscure IPs.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Animal Crossing, just for me, that's just an instant. That would have been the first, which is the game that's going to work best on mobile. Was that?
Yeah.
That can make a fucking fortune.
Yeah, scary times.
That's like amiibo money.
Run for the hills.
It's nothing for nothing. Little bits of code and graphics.
It's a Tamagotchi,
Yeah.
basically.
But no, again, The Last of Us.
Yeah, see, now there's a game.
And that's... I find games that have got that sort of paternal instinct that drives that and triggers that. Because obviously as I've got older and I'm not the sort of... When I was in my 20s, I played different games. I mean, Wind Waker was another one. When I was on the GameCube, that was a really great game for me.
But what about Wind Waker really made you think this is taking something different away from it than just, your usual sort of, wow, I killed 500 people that time?
It's just a lot of the characters, and I love the art style. And it was just a charming, delightful little game. I mean, it was a bit annoying and tedious with the amount of sailing you had to do, but it was a great game still. There were some brilliant characters.
It's weird. I was the same way, but about Spirit Tracks.
Yeah,
it generally really was.
Yeah.
And especially, and also there's something about a big experience like that done in a very enjoyable way on a handheld. So you're kind of like, you're not sharing this with the rest of the world, There's something weird about that, but it does give me that sort of
that
feeling.
ties back with Sword of Mana, because like you say, you're all enclosed and you're having to look, because it's a smaller screen and it's right up, and I mean it was a great story. And there's always the ones, I mean, we were talking about is what you're worried about with The Last Guardian, that Trico's going to die. You're like, you a bastard, I knew you were going to do it, but he's going to do it anyway, and I'm going to have to play it, and I've got to, and I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to love it at the same time, and I'm going to be sad, and going to be annoyed that I'm sad.
But do you know what, there's nothing, but the funny thing is you there is a safety net in the games like Zelda, where you go, we're all going to be alright in the end.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There is that reassurance and that almost, like you say, safety blanket of, it's okay, there's Link, I know Ganon's there, but still, Zelda, no one's going to die. For a storyline, if somebody said to me, and I've ranted about this before, if somebody said to me, put a storyline up there which kind of just is the definitive holy fucking shit of video games, Legacy of Kain, for those who haven't played it, it's just 6 or 7 games which from beginning to end arc from a rather well-off, selfish lord getting murdered through to battling with people's religious beliefs and moral beliefs and all sorts, and the journey that you go through those games, and it's just phenomenal. Would you say it's definitely worth seeing if someone's popped that up on YouTube?
Somebody has. Somebody has done it, but you got to bear in mind that the FMV is painful because it is when they first started doing 3D graphics. So it is horribly painful, but the storyline is phenomenal, and it screams. I walked away from that whole experience when, fuck me, will somebody please do like a Star Wars like octology of that, or however many movies they need to make to please play that out, because you look at storylines like Underworld and stuff like that, they've attached another one onto the end each time. You think you've got such a fully fledged, fully written storyline there, which is phenomenal. And by the end of it I was thinking, holy shit, I was so indignant of my position when I was playing that point of the game, and then 2 hours later I was like disgusted in myself, and then 2 hours later I was ashamed of my previous self who was disgusted in myself, and I was just like, what the fuck? That's something really special for any sort of storyline, irrelevant of whether it's game, music, movie, to take you on that journey, and there's some albums you feel that way about, and there's some movies you feel that way, you look at Shawshank Redemption or Green Mile and stuff like that. I watched the Green Mile, I was on the floor at the end of it, I was like, oh my god, you're not going to do it, are you? It takes you away from just a movie or a game.
I think that's where, like you say, it comes to that thing that you can call, when something becomes art and just something's just pulp.
Yeah.
Which is, like you say, there's loads of movies that, like, basically anything that Michael Bay's done, you could never really call art.
Yeah.
But some of it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
But and then books are the same. There's just a lot of pap and tripe and shit. And
filler. Yeah.
This thing with, like, say, our games art. Some games, yeah. But they've got, the thing is with the problem with video games It's like movies are fairly easy because you have to tell a story, and you have to use visual and dialogue and music. Games are different because you don't have to.
There's more avenues for you to
visually,
to actually communicate with the user, isn't it?
And
so you could have amazing gameplay but shit graphics, or you can have amazing graphics and sound, and yet the gameplay is very simplistic.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Limbo, for example.
Yeah, Super Hot was another one.
Yeah.
Just a really, really wonderful, creative way of telling a story which you wouldn't expect.
Different twist on,
Especially it's really relevant as well, with obviously the VR market.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one. Yeah, that was Super Hot. That really got me as well.
It surprised me as well, that one, because I just thought, I'm just playing it for this experience, and no graphics are shit, but I just want to try this whole bullet time.
Looks like a great, cool puzzle game.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I'm like hooked onto a storyline that I never saw coming.
And it's brilliant. I really was really impressed.
I think it's great that there's still stuff out there which gets us that kind of invigorated. There's still stuff coming to market even now, like Super Hot, where you're just like,
I think we're at the beginnings. The same way that Hollywood took sort of 20, 30 years. Like you had, like, Donkey Kong was like King Kong when that was released back in the 20s.
Yeah,
that was like the first big blockbuster. Like, you could say the same, like Mario, Donkey Kong, that kind of thing. That was the initial birth of video gaming, and it's slowly progressed, and now we're sort of hitting into the 40s and 50s.
So you're saying like it's like Minority Report, Hard Rain sort of thing?
Well, we've got a few years to catch up on that.
Yeah, okay.
That sort of scale with video games. But no, I think the technology now is so vast and advanced and it's so easy for very limited resources to be able to make any kind of game, really. I mean, anyone can do it. It just takes time and a bit of patience and tempering your expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think there's so many creative people in this world that can make wonderful stories, and it's just those people finding that connection and, like you say, finding the connection with the audience. Because there's been some brilliant ones, stuff like Gone Home. Her story, which is just released on Android. It's all driven by FMV, and you're going back through
story. It's just a storyline, isn't it?
You're trying to find out, and like I say, everyone's experience is different. They're the games for me that everyone takes. Like, it's great when you've got games like Last of Us that you've got this central plot and it's driven that way, and it's everyone's got the same kind of experience and they get the same highs and lows. But it's when you get games like, say, Her Story, and it's this emergent gameplay where you drive your own
dictation of which direction you're going, basically. Yeah.
And when it creates all this wonderful dialogue around it, it's really good.
And I think we are, like you say, we're at a time now where people who have, everybody sat at home and gone, do you know what? Why did they do that? It'd be great if they just did this with the video game. And for every one of those little ideas, it would be like active reload on Gears. Somebody went, why can't we make reloading a bit more exciting? Why don't we have a sweet spot that if you hit it, you reload a bit far? Somebody did it, and then, it bleeds off into gaming, and we should. We've all got these opportunities. But I used to play loads of fighting games when I was younger, and I sat there and went, why can't somebody do a close combat fighting game where it's more about deflects and punches rather than jumping across the map and trying to punch, and why can't well, there we go. And it's and that's what's, to me, it's like now we've got an opportunity to vocally share that with the community, or even do it ourselves, so that's why these games are coming out and they're coming to fruition.
You could do as soon as we stop recording, you could go in Unity and get demos of games that they've built, and you can piss about with it and learn how it all works, and you could essentially make your own games. You've got stuff like Construct and Game Salad, and there's loads of engines now that people can do these things.
Exciting times.
It really is. It's like going back to the old bedroom days of the 80s where people were bedroom coding, where it was just two kids and their computer. It was the geeks that made all of these classic games from the old the old C64 days and the old Amstrad C464 days, and they were brilliant those days because again you used to get these unbelievable games that you're like, how did they do this? This looks unreal, and yeah, it does fill me with that excitement, but also with it, there's this air that it is maturing. I mean, yes, we've still got our Gal guns and stuff that we should all roll our eyes at that it's still being made.
Pre-ordered.
But there are a lot of avenues that are trying to mature the experience and trying to grow it up. And it is starting to in certain areas. I mean, even to an extent, stuff like Grand Theft Auto, it kind of has, in terms of its technology, it's still just as puerile, but the kind of stories they're telling are a lot grander.
Yeah, and a lot more like nitty, sort of gritty, real life sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds stupid, but I'd like to see a world in which, in Grand Theft Auto, you can go get a prostitute and have sex with them, because that's the reality of the situation of the characters you're playing as. I'm not saying that, is that degrading to women? No, that's the true reality of life, that there are prostitutes out there and they do sell themselves for money, and blokes do buy it, and if that's the case, put that in the game, and that honesty is pretty cool as well. But I fear I'm jumping back to what's the beef cheese.
Something
rein me back in.
It would be a sticky subject to talk about.
Freezing boom. Cool. Yeah. So, final thoughts, Link, on our uncharted territory of games which really take you somewhere special, or leave you with something special.
I think it's a great time for a lot of people to create their own experiences. I mean, Telltale love doing some great stuff. The new Batman, I like the idea of a more story-driven Bruce Wayne's his conflict between the Batman and the Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's a bit more of a like, I just finished Wolf Among Us.
Great,
I mean, that was brilliant, to the point that I'm even tempted to sort of go and get the Fables comic book series. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to some really exciting stuff being told, some new great compelling characters, male or female, just seeing stuff grow up a bit, and some new exciting different things.
Yeah. I mean, for
VR.
me,
very interested
I think
to see how that works.
There is so many great ideas which are now being generated and getting an opportunity to come to fruition, and we all experience it, like your super hots, like your limbos, like your inside and such like. So with all of that happening, I'm just like, please, just people continue to do what you're doing and do it well, and
with wonder and awe.
And I hate to always drive back to this, but I do say it to people, and I really do mean it. Like Inside, it's like a 3-hour storyline. It's an incredibly short game.
How much was it?
It's £15 or £16. So
it's 3 hours down the pub. Yeah,
well, that's one way to look at it. Yeah, but I would just say, please encourage people to support these games. They need it, because it's the only way we drive change in the market is by supporting the people who take a chance. So please do that. Cool. And on that sobering note, I think we find ourselves coming to an end, folks. So, Link, final thoughts? Any more for this week?
I think we're done.
I think we're tapped
we don't
out
want to
there.
run out of time.
Yeah. So, from Angry Link, it's
adios.
And for me, it's goodbye.